Welcome back to a brand new ranking video here on Mac Talks Movies. Happy October to everyone out there. Crazy that we're almost at the end of the year already. So let's break down all the movies I saw in the month of September before we move into October. I saw 7 new releases this month. We're going to rank all 7, including The Woman King. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do these types of movie rankings every single month, as well as movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, and a box office breakdown show. Subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Comment down what is your ranking. I did not get to see every single new release in the month of September. So please let me know, what are your thoughts on the month of September? And then please like the video, guys, the thumbs up on. Let's have a fun discussion here. So also, if you're new to the channel, if this is your first video, welcome. Please subscribe. But I've already done, I'll leave a playlist at the end of this video, which will be for all my movie reviews of this year. If you go to the most recent, all 7 of these movies are there. So if you want my full 7 to 10 minute full length reviews of these movies, you can go to there. I'm just gonna give my general kind of 2-minute thoughts on each of the films because we have 7 to go through. So let's get into this ranking, which I'm very, very excited about. Sorry, just pulling up my list here. And starting in last place at number 7 is Pinocchio. This is from Disney Plus, and I think this is easily one of the worst Disney live-action remakes of all time. It's disappointing when you have Robert Zemeckis behind the camera, Tom Hanks in front of the camera, Alvin Silvestri returning with Robert Zemeckis. Again, this comes from the director of Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then Tom Hanks. And this is a total misfire from Disney. This movie came out on Disney Plus Day and really fell apart. The mixture of live action mixed in with CGI, mixed in with stop animation, just did not work. A lot of the CGI looked very creepy. It kind of looked like Zemeckis filmed Polar Express and this back to back, but Polar Express came out in 2005 and this comes out in 2022. So it does not look very good from a CGI point of view. Some of the CGI is awful, especially the scene with waves. And I just feel like the story kind of goes all over the place. Once it adds new characters, it kind of forgets about them for portions of the movie. It just has no heart. And for a movie that's about bringing a boy back to life, they certainly did not do that with the audience, because I just think this is easily one of the worst Disney live action remakes of all time. So coming in at number 6 is the most recent film I saw this month, and that is Blonde, a really disappointing Netflix film, which was kind of produced by Brad Pitt, starring Ana de Armas in the lead role playing Marilyn Monroe. This is not a true story. This is a biographical, fictional telling of Marilyn Monroe's story. So aspects of it are true, aspects of it are based on rumors, and then aspects of it are just false things to create drama for the movie. And why Ana de Armas is fantastic, and she is fantastic in the movie. The film is 2 hours and 50 minutes long. It's basically a 3-hour movie, and it felt like a chore to watch. I had to watch it over 2 days. It just felt like a chore. I was very bored. I found the story to be way too bleak for its runtime, and I felt like they really did not do a good job of showing Marilyn Monroe. I think they really exploited Marilyn Monroe and didn't give her character any sense of a human being inside of her, or even just positivity. And they made her, I think, in this movie, the stereotype that people see Marilyn Monroe, which is a dumb blonde, which is obviously not what she is. And that's what the movie's trying to commentate on. But the Marilyn Monroe, the Norma Jean, they can't get out of their own way by making her that as Marilyn Monroe. So some really pretentious, also very over-the-top direction does not help the movie as well. And also, it was just a boring 3 hours that I will not get back. So now we have a pretty big jump here on, actually, let's keep it with number 5, sorry, and that is Don't Worry, Darling. Easily one of the most anticipated movies of the year. The second directed film for Olivia Wilde, Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Gemma Chan, Nick Kroll, stacked cast, and this is also the second film. Booksmart was her first film, Olivia Wilde's, and I love Booksmart, and I was very excited. This is not downing all the backstage, behind closed doors, bad publicity that this film has been getting, but I was still very excited for this movie. And again, Florence Pugh gives one of the best performances of the entire year. Chris Pine is cast perfectly as Frank, this kind of villain who runs this runs this town named Victory Town. It's a very well-made movie, very well directed by Olivia Wilde. The scenery, the costumes are gorgeous. I was never bored watching this movie. But this movie all comes down to the third act. The first really 75%, really the first 80% of this movie is setup, setup, setup. Florence Pugh has no idea what's going on. Something feels off to her. And we do that for the first, I don't know, hour 40 of a 2-hour movie. And then there's a big reveal, as everyone's been talking about. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but for me, it just doesn't work. And while I was very actually invested and committed to the first 2 acts of this movie, the third act really falls flat. Harry Styles is okay in the first 2 acts and really struggles in the third act of this movie, which it just pulled me out of the movie. The Florence Pugh Chris Pine dynamic was fantastic, but they only had like 1 or 2 scenes together, which was a bit of a misfire. And the more you think about the twist, the more you think logically and how could this actually happen? And also I was thinking maybe Olivia Wilde's character in the movie, her performance, her character seemed way more of an interesting way to tell the story than with Florence Pugh's character. So it was kind of a weird thing where Olivia Wilde's own character in the movie felt like could have been the main character of this movie, probably should have been instead of Florence Pugh. Not saying Florence Pugh was bad, just it was a more interesting way of looking at this story and the plot twist than what Florence Pugh's character had to offer. So this is easily maybe the most disappointed I've been in a movie all year long. I really wanted to like it. I was into the first 2 acts. It's well made, well acted for the most part. But the third act really falls flat. When your whole movie's about setup, I can't really give you a fresh review. So now we're getting into the number 4 spot. And that is the most recent theatrical movie I saw, which was Smile. I had a really good time. This is a big jump now. The rest of these movies are 3.5 out of 5 or above now. The previous were 2 out of 5 or below. Smile was a really fun time in theaters. It's one of the best horror performances of the entire year with Sosie Bacon in the lead role. If you're not familiar, it's about this doctor. She treats mental health patients, and her patient kills herself right in front of her. And this leads to her seeing people smile around her. It's kind of a ticking time bomb on when she'll have to either kill someone or kill herself. And this is a really fun and tight hour and 55 minutes that's really run through jump scares. I'm not really a huge jump scare person, but there were really good jump scares really throughout this entire film for the most part. As I said, Sosie Bacon really carries this film on her shoulders. You care about her character. Her backstory is very interesting. And just being a mental health, helper in treatment centers, then be considered the crazy one, I found to be a really unique idea for a movie. And this movie takes itself very seriously. And Parker Finn, the director, did a great job of, even though these people are smiling and sometimes it could be unintentionally funny, he kept the movie very serious. We really were never laughing really throughout the entire film when someone would be smiling at our main character. There were a couple nitpicks I had with the movie. One is that while it's 75% a fresh horror idea, especially towards the third act of this movie, they kind of threw all the horror cliches out there that you've seen in a billion horror movies before, which kind of took you out of the movie. The ending was kind of flat. It wasn't bad, but it was just maybe the least interesting ending you could have had with this type of concept. And as I said, because it heavily relies on jump scares, some of the false jump scares aren't really that good. And sometimes it gets a bit repetitive. The movie keeps needing to do jump scares to get you scared. But overall, I had a fun time with Smile in the theater. Coming up next at number 3 is Do Revenge. This is a Netflix film starring Camila Mendes and Maya Hawke, about Camille Mendes, junior year of high school, kind of gets framed in a bad way by her ex-boyfriend. And Maya Hawke is transferring to school, and she realizes that her ex-girlfriend, who outed her at a camp, is also at the same school. So Camila Mendes and Maya Hawke's characters team up to do revenge on their different people. And I found this to be the most fun I've had watching a Netflix film all year long. Is this the greatest movie of all time? No, but it is a lot of fun because of the charisma from the main 2 leads. This is easily the best work of Camila Mendes' career. She's very entertaining as a very unlikable kind of high school popular kid turning into Maya Hawke's level, who's kind of this, I guess, weirdo, I guess. But they're not supposed to work together, but they do come together for a common goal. And the two of them are really good together. Also, Austin Abrams, Rish Shah, Sarah Michelle Gellar are also really good in the film as well. And it just felt fresh enough. It was a fun movie. You didn't have to like sit there and critique everything 2 minutes. Now, there obviously are some critiques. Obviously, at times it does not feel like this is a real school. It doesn't feel like these kids are actually high school students sometimes during the movie. And while there's a big kind of reveal in the third act, they don't really do anything to capitalize on how good of a reveal it was. So that was kind of disappointing because the reveal was like, oh my God, I didn't think a twist like this could be in this movie. But then it kind of just 10 minutes later kind of resolved it very quickly. So that was a bit disappointing. But overall, what a fun time on Netflix with Do Revenge. So we're going to keep going until we have 2 more movies to talk about. My number 2, and they're both my top 10 of the year. Number 2 is Barbarian. What a fun, you have no WTF, the most WTF movie of the entire year, starring Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long. I don't really get into the plot because if you have not seen the movie yet, the trailer of the movie is literally the first 20 minutes of the movie. And then something happens and it's like you're in a different movie. It does that like 3 or 4 times. And it is amazing to watch when you have no idea what's coming next, what the actual plot of the movie really is, and if characters are alive or dead. The idea of doing this movie and you watch the trailer, then you see the movie like, okay, this is kind of the movie that we knew between Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård. And then the movie kind of goes on to something different. 20 minutes in, you're like, oh, wow. And then it goes on a different 20 minutes later. You're like, okay. Really the most unique movie experience you'll ever get in a movie theater. Great performances from Campbell, Skarsgård, and Long. Really, Campbell really delivers in her leading role. The visual effects are really, really good as well in the movie. And just the unpredictability factor was also really good. For me, I didn't totally love the ending of the movie. I thought the ending of the movie was really good, but wasn't amazing. So I couldn't get it to be the best horror movie I've seen this year, but still really loved Barbarian. I highly recommend if you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. And then coming in at number 5 for me is The Woman King. Easily my number 1, not easily, but I loved The Woman King. Saw it in theaters, loved it. I know that there's some backlash about, is this what this actually tribe was? But I'm judging the movie on its merits. And it's a really fantastic, uplifting, inspiring film that this group of African woman warriors that I adored, really. Viola Davis is could be the Oscar-winning performance here in the lead role. One of the best performances, probably the best women's female performance I've seen in a movie all year long. Uso Mbedu, who plays one of the Nawi, one of the most important characters in this film, she comes out of nowhere and debuts herself in this film, and she's fantastic. Can't wait to see what to do with her next. Rashana Lynch is a huge standout, and obviously John Boyega is also very good in this movie. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it really flies by from start to finish. The action, when there's action, is some of the best action I've seen in a movie all year long. The drama scenes can get very emotional, and you really are enwrapped in these characters. The scenery, the culture, the authenticity really bleeds through the screen. So The Woman King for me is not, my one issue with the movie. It holds it back from being in my top. It's my number 5 movie of the year so far. There was kind of a romance kind of developed in the movie that I just wasn't a huge fan of. But other than that, The Woman King is one of the best movies I've seen all year long. And it's number 1 in the month of September. So that's my thoughts on my ranking on my films in the new releases in September as we head into a new month here in October. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell. What is your ranking in the comment section down below? And if you just want to talk about my ranking, what are your thoughts on my ranking? Did you love Blonde? Did you not like some of the movies I have on my top of the list? Let me know in the comment section. My upcoming list of videos coming out the same time as this will be my review of Blonde. Then Monday will be my box office breakdown show. Wednesday, review of Andor episode 5. Episode 8 review of She-Hulk will be on Thursday, and then Amsterdam review will be back on Friday. So that's my reviews coming up. See you guys.